Yeah. What's up, Muhammad? What's up, Ahmed? How you doing, man? What's up? What's up, guys? How we doing? Welcome to the closing stream. We're gonna probably join a little call here at the end. Little call here at the end. Talk about market closure today. But we back, baby. We back. Small little stream and close out the day. Hopefully you guys had a decent day today. There's always a strategy for beginners, brother. Always a strategy. But welcome back to the Lux Style live stream. My name is Jacob. Like always, good to see you. Happy to have you here. The NQ did some interesting things today. We had some heck of a lot of good trades. We had gap divergence, which we talked about yesterday. We talked about gap divergence yesterday, and it happened again today, and it played out beautifully. Now, we did talk about yesterday how, pre-market, could be weird, but when you get mega bullish confirmation, there's absolutely no reason to not take the bullish divergence, okay? Okay? I mean, it was just that good. It was just that good today. It was that good. Unreal. Hopefully you guys had a decent trading day, though. We went 2 for 2 today. If you guys followed the Twitter, we went 2 for 2. We even called out the gap divergence, right? At 9:01 a.m. I was like, yo, watch this upside target. Watch the upside target to 20,003. We're just going for 20K, to be honest. Off of that gap divergence right there. And what do we get? A mega move. It was really nice. We got a really nice move into that high. Again, today we closed out the day around 3K in profit. It was a good little day. But all that was just from the oscillator matrix saying, yo, this is some gap divergence. We might start running. The other thing that really confirmed whether or not we were dialed for this potentially to play out real nicely was the reversal zone bounce as well. That reversal zone bounce, you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong. Tomorrow we will be back, though, by the way, in the morning for a nice morning stream. But one sec. Okay. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be back in the morning stream to talk about some futures trades. We're just going to kind of see how we close today. Interesting day, though, in the market. And now I'm in a gas short. You're shorting crude oil? You shorting crude oil? I'm gonna do this real quick as well. Luxurious. Ads. I don't have ads now. What is that? What is that garbage? What is that? But good to see you guys. Welcome back. We're gonna do a little bit shorty stream here. We'll talk about some closure stuff and potentially some good plays into the next day. We'll see how we trade overnight as well. Sorry, I'm posting this to the X account. All right. Any thoughts to why gold did not break out the upside? And we can touch on that as well. Let's see. I mean, yesterday we talked about how this was a nice little bounce candle. It's not, I mean, with gold, like gold's been ripping so hard. I mean, it's one of those things where consolidation is what you want. You want this price action. If you want gold to continue higher, you have to have this. You have to have this if you want gold to continue higher. This thing has nothing but delivered so well every day. I mean, look at this retracement back down here, right? You had a nice little bull flag here, right? plays out, right? Nice little bull back here, breaks. We got a high low today. If that thing closes, if this 4 hour closes where it's at, you're probably going to get a nice extension into the after hours movement, maybe. But I mean, it's just one of those things where you just gotta respect the overall directional price action. I mean, this thing literally, like, 2-day pullback, bounced yesterday. It's already about to close back up today as well, which is awesome. NQ today, though, guys, this is what we saw. Okay, so again, if you're not following me on Twitter, I don't know why you're not. If you're not following the Luxago Twitter, I don't know why you're not. We keep you updated with everything going on in the market, and I give you the morning analysis. So whether or not you're going to get all your updates at Luxalgo for everything you need to know going on in the market each day, but you're also going to get morning analysis from me at Indicators Work. Again, if you're not using indicators, if you don't think indicators work, then you're probably using them wrong. But in this case, yes. As we can see here, yes, sir. This morning, I post about 10, 15 minutes before market open. And this was our morning analysis right here. I posted a lot today. I was super excited. It was a heck of a move. So this morning on the 4 hour, this is what we saw. We saw that there was a high volume node sitting, right? High volume node sitting below on the 4 hour chart. The 4 hour, I'm going to turn this music down a little bit. We're going to see how we close out today. We're kind of bouncing around here at close. But this morning we saw this high volume node sitting down here to the downside. We were holding, right, this 1 hour order block. Now, you know me, the biggest thing I'm going to do is see if price can move towards volume. So we looked at the 1 hour as well. The other bearish sentiment was the fact that we had the reversal zone actually extend on the downside. It gave you more of a gap. It extended into it once, kind of held this 4 hour blue order block here, and then extended lower. I was either thinking at the open, we're going to probably get a push either down here to about 19,800, or we're going to get a push and break that high. Now, overall, though, because the 4 hour was sitting and showing that we haven't fully filled this downside node, that was my move. I wanted to see the 800s first, okay? We wanted to see the 800s first. At open, right, it all comes down to VWAP, right? It all comes down to VWAP. That's the biggest thing. So for me, right, on the 5 minute here at open, what did we get? Right here. We got a break, right, up, and then it dojied right here at VWAP. The minute I see a doji like this, I'm going to take that risk to that high because I know that we have this high volume node sitting down here, right, on the 4 hour. It moved now, but this morning, if we were to look at it, there's that node, right? So it did move now, which is fine. It's going to move when price continues. I'm going to make sure it's the blue one so it doesn't confuse anybody. But we had that node down here, right? So overall, all I can determine is price is going to try, especially with us in very bearish sentiment at these levels, price is probably going to try to fully retest these highs. All right, so going into open here, we pretty much got that exact retest, almost the exact same low here going into open. So the biggest thing is the minute I see price try to break out of this node it had here, right? Try to break out of this node, but it couldn't, is the minute I'm going to short as much as I can. We took a short right here and pretty much played it all the way down to, I personally wanted a retest of this 15-minute low right down here. I wanted a retest of this level, and I flipped that, sorry. Let me do the other way. I have it magnetized. I forgot to turn that off. Here it is. So I pretty much wanted a retest of that 15-minute low, which we got. I think I went with the out. No, maybe it was the 5 minute. There was one low. Yeah, it was the 5 minute because it didn't extend all the way down. So my first original target was this 5 minute open close low down here. We didn't fully get that, but we ended up taking about 50 points in profit on that first move. I would have to go back and look. But essentially, we wanted that 19,830 on that first push down. We ended up closing around 19,840-ish for about 1,300 on that first move right here. So with that initial push, what happens? Well, the first thing that we start to see is why is this loading like it's freaking old school internet? What is going on? We had that 4 hour high volume node sitting there, right? And this reversal zone. So the minute this reversal zone showed a very aggressive bounce, we had the oscillator matrix, right? The oscillator matrix on that aggressive bounce said, hey, I think it was the next candle, right? It said, hey, right here, right now, that is showing us some gap divergence. With that gap divergence right here off that reversal zone, so long as we ran through VWAP, had a 5-minute close over VWAP, we were going to get a very aggressive push. Now, I went ahead and prematurely bought this because I liked the risk to reward from this level. And so we ended up making a beautiful run. But even if you would have bought this run here, you would have had no problem rallying right through that high and the extended reversal zone. So if you wanted to take even extra profits, you could have going through that extended reversal zone. But that gap divergence after sweeping these lows, showing us divergence, pretty much played out exactly what we were looking for this morning. And now VWAP has been playing very well as well. So, man, I do like this higher low right now. Let's see. We got about 10 minutes left. You're gonna get an algo here in just a minute. Watch the volatility kick up. But that was pretty much our trades from this morning. Again, we post them on I post them on my personal here. You can see the moves on the trades we made. But this overall played out beautifully. And divergence, man, with the oscillator matrix, that divergence, when that shows up, when you see clean gap divergence like we talked about yesterday, it's literally one of the best setups that I've ever traded. It's incredible, especially if it lines up with current sentiment, like bouncing off a 4-hour high volume node. That was just unreal. So on the day we closed about $3,072. And again, all we did was, dude, that's gonna piss me off. All we do was wait for proper levels to set up and give us confirmation. So in this case now, where do we head from here? Well, the fun part is, man, crude oil sold off this morning with the overall war going on in the Middle East. We had an overnight run. I was really hoping we would get an overnight run into 73. We got it up to 72.40. Crude oil sells off, and then the U.S. market bounces. That's why you're seeing a little bit of upside today. So that there's that algo. I just flipped it. So this thing, let's see if it holds up. But for now, if we go into that 4-hour time frame, going into tomorrow, we'll discuss potentially this overnight session. This right now is incredible. It's a really good spot for a potential run into 184. Now, notice at 184, besides this high volume node here on the 4-hour, on the NQ, besides this high volume node, we have this massive volume area, right? It's pretty much your value range. Besides this value range, we have a 4-hour order block that's held nicely. The other nice part is that we are holding also above those previous highs right here on the 4-hour. So seeing both of those hold up here is a really good sign that we could continue in a nice bullish run over the weekend. So this actually, into tomorrow. This actually closed very nicely with a pretty much full engulfing. You could, it's a very janky Morningstar reversal, but it's kind of there. You had your doji and you had your full engulfing there. You had your full engulfing there. And so now it's trying to play out. It bounced off VWAP. Right now, what I'd be targeting is see if this thing can run into right at this zone right here, right? So you have this 29% very high sentiment of both sides from, the previous time that it was traded there, as a majority is bulls, right? But it's about 20,184, so is the average price there. The price I would want, obviously, is 20,200. That'd be my upside target going into tomorrow. But here's the concern is that we're still in lower highs. So that run would be perfect, right? You can play into that run. So we'll see how it goes overnight. See if it makes a run tonight, somewhere around 20,100 or 200. And then maybe shows rejection. If it doesn't, if it breaks out of that, we could maybe see a continuation into tomorrow. The best part is on this daily here, this is a fantastic close. Now, we're not going to get a full closure for another hour. But as you can see, as of now, this little retracement here has been very clean. So we pull our current swing off of its last retracement that it had to its high here. You'll notice it has made a full 71% retracement. 618 had the closing price above it and opening price above it. And now it's trying to close over that 50% retracement just from its previous swing there. Just from its previous swing. So in this case right now, we're looking really strong for this to be a trend continuation. Now, if we look at NVIDIA and some of these others, very fantastic close today. Amazon, obviously big puller, bouncing off its high volume node. I currently have a swing on Amazon. I think we're only up about 10%. We had a high today of like 30% profit. But if we go to the weight as well here, we can look at Microsoft. Microsoft does close red today. And then Tesla, does that close red? Tesla actually recovered a bit, which is nice. Barely, though. It's a doji. And yes, okay. So Amazon, Microsoft, and that. So if, we can get a nice bounce on Amazon here, we can see the market pull back up. But the NQ looks really good for a trend continuation tomorrow or overnight. Let's see if it runs to 20,200. Okay. That being said, I know all of you guys love your little gold, and we can go over gold as well. So gold here, I would start on probably the 4 hour if we're talking about movements into tomorrow. Again, tomorrow morning we will be live looking at NQ again in the morning. I don't know. It's going to be somewhere around 10 Eastern. I'll keep you updated if it changes, but it'll be somewhere in the morning sometime. Now, as you can see here, we could be forming a larger bull flag on the NQ. Or NQ on gold spot here. The only concern is that we are inside that reversal zone. We have now extended into the reversal zone again. Remember, the last few times that we've extended in here, we usually have a decent bearish day. This and this. And what could line up for that bearish day? What could it be this week that could line up for that bearish day? Well, that would be NFP on Friday. So we have non-farm payroll on Friday. So just be ready for that. Tomorrow, we have ISM and Global Services PMI at 10 a.m., so be ready for that. But Friday could be that determining sell-off that you've been waiting for, or maybe not waiting for. But again, I would be very careful for non-farm on Friday morning. Non-farm, the last time, I would have to look at the last date. Let's see. I think it did sell off. Hold on, let me see. Non-farm last week. The last time was, we got a Friday. There's so much news this week. It's crazy. Non-farm payroll here. Let's see. The last non-farm report was September 6th. September 6th. Right here. Boom. So this non-farm day, here you go. So we go the 4 hour. Let's go to September 6th. We had a bearish day right here. Here's your non-farm. No, that's 18th. Sorry. That was a different report. Where's your 6th? Right here. Boom. There you go. There's your non-farm. This is the last reaction on non-farm payroll. And it was a 1.37% drop here on gold. That was a mega miss. It was 164 over 142. Forecast was 164. Actual was 142. We're forecasted 144K this time. So, if it's less than that, if it shows 142 again, I would be shocked if it actually missed this time. So if it does beat, you'll probably see a nice little jump on gold, but we'll see. It missed the last 2 times. We'll see if it beats this time. But in this case, as of now, you're trading gas for 6 to 8 weeks. Nice. In this current situation, non-farm on Friday could kind of set off this high. That was a 1.37% drop. I mean, again, that's not much on what's it called? On crude oil. So I'd be watching crude oil. On gold, I would be watching to see if you get a similar reaction if we do miss on non-farm this weekend. Overall, though, for the I guess we could look at oil. Let's see. Actually, look at Bitcoin real quick. I haven't looked at that yet. For Bitcoin's a little bit different. Bitcoin has fully extended down through the reversal zone. Remember yesterday we talked about, this Coinbase, cool. Yesterday we talked about how on the daily we like that move into this 60,500 level. Now we closed yesterday up here at 60,816. We were trading somewhere in the 61 yesterday when we were talking. Now, if we pull our current swing fib from this high to low here, your overall 50% retracement isn't until 59,500, which we discussed yesterday. So the only reason we were thinking, you know, this level here was a previous significant high that rejected because of the high volume node. But here's your high volume node right here. This is it. This is your overall, let's just say, value area high and low. This is the low. This is the high. So you're at that low right now. Does price hold? I mean, it's at 60. So does today kind of hold at 60? So far, with it opening and making a full bounce, right, where it's at up to 62K, it actually is trying to hold up over yesterday's low. So if it does hold up over yesterday's low, there is a probability that it could potentially rally. Again, is this gap divergence? No. Can you write the word gap? Now some of you are gonna be like, yeah, I can write it real small. No, you can't. So that's not divergence that I would consider. We can't write the word gap at a decent, that was terrible, but at a decent, get out of here, NVIDIA, that ad plug, at a decent, whatever, size. This gap divergence, you can write it. You can write it right in there. And it, guess what, played out beautifully. Now, again, we told you the odds overall on Bitcoin were very good to the downside. Daily sentiment, though, is showing this 5964. If it does break below that, is honestly more bears than bulls. It's not very aggressive, though. You would want to see something quite major. Notice on the 4-hour here, it actually, in this current range, more buyers at that level from its current trend that I was in. I do love this, though. Yo. Where am I just discussing? I do love this, though. Look at this beautiful trend that just breaks, lower high, and then drops. Good price action. Let's keep it with good price action. If we can have a nice little, fun little price action where it's real clean moves and has no problem moving in proper directions, I'm okay with that. I mean, we're sick of this choppy crap. This is really annoying when that happens. But when it's really nice trend movements, this had, 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, 4 tap. It's like, bravo. Bravo, Bitcoin. I'm very happy that we, got something like that, right? This was a September month that closed mega bullish, right? I'll give it down to 59K. It could go retest last month's open. That's fine. It could retest last month's open. It was a fantastic closure on the monthly. Go to the weekly, right? Weekly's considering this same trend here on Bitcoin. It's just playing out nicely. It's very clean price action, and that's okay. If it's clean price action, we'll take it, right? So in this case now, on this current move, right, we want to see if it can get a full, maybe 59,500, like we talked about already. That would be a full 50% retracement. Maybe we get some buyers around that level. Now, in this case on the daily here, let's go back to the daily. Yep. On the daily here, we talked about how this is could be its last resort if it wants to, potentially bounce and continue its daily trend, even though it's kind of already broken it. That's been a pretty aggressive, trend overall. If we were to get a downside move, you know me, I love the overlap when the order blocks and the, order block and the reversal zones do line up. We have already touched reversal zone, escaped it, and now touching it again. I honestly don't think, unless we had some crazy volatility, it would go down to 57 again. I do think it could easily, like we said already, go and play out this entire zone. I think we could play down to 59K. I don't think it would go much lower. If it does go down here, we would more so wick it than anything, unless something picks up on the news front that really drives it through 58K. I don't think it would go as low as that, but it is possible. We're not really worried about it. But again, remember, on the monthly candle, that low right here is 58, 59. 59 pretty much. The open of last month was 58,968. It's pretty much 59K. This here, the close was 58,968. Same, obviously, pretty much the same thing. Sometimes they can gap. But let me see here. Matthias said, quick question. I'm trying to do some fibs and set some limit orders at some price levels on the linear scale. It's reached 620 level, but on log scale, it hasn't even reached it. I wouldn't be using a linear scale, I wouldn't be using a log scale for Fibonacci's. I wouldn't be using a log scale, to be honest. I would just use a linear scale. It's going to be way better. It's actual fibs. Now, either way, guys, we're consolidating very cleanly here. We've, held 60s for days. We went up, made a run to 65.8. And we're done just fine. So we've come off that high. We've pretty much retraced half of this. We're going to see how we go into tomorrow. Today it tried to bounce. But, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain because it didn't make a full bounce. It had a really nice rally. The coin dropped, too. Yeah, coin had a good day, and then it fell. Coin back red today. Had a nice rally, and then kind of came off of that. If we were to look at the 4 hour here, honestly, I would have wanted it to pull right back into this level here. But, I mean, what do we see? Price dumps, right? Price dumps and then immediately tries to retrace back. If we were to go to a lower time frame, right, like the 1 hour here, this is not anything but a bear flag, right? This is nothing else. This was a bear flag. Price dumps, holds, tries to rally back up, sets higher highs and higher lows, breaks that, and then continues lower. We go to 15-minute, right? Similar situation. Price did rally up, reject that reversal zone. Now it's back down. 15-minute is in its own reversal zone, right? It's in its own reversal zone. What do we see here, right? What do we see here? Huh? This is like the greatest thing ever. Gap. I can write the word gap at a very frequent thing. This is gap divergence, right? This is where it signaled right here on this nice little green dot for you right here, right? Bitcoin. Where's that dot? Where's that dot printing? That dot's printing on this candle right here, okay? That dot printed on this right here. That line there, you can see it matches that candle right there. Let's see here. Now, any person that's going to trade divergence, what are you going to do? This is, I mean, just it's insane. You got gap that's why we call it gap divergence. Swing low here. Now that's a very aggressive swing low. It's 1.828% move. But I mean, come on. If we were to do this, move it all the way. Let's just say you wanted to go for a full 2-to-1. Almost, man. 198 or so. In my opinion here, what I would do, this is what I always do with any trades like this, is you first set it at swing low, right? Now, if price fully takes out swing low, whatever. All right, that's, that happens. Sometimes it doesn't play out perfectly. Gap divergence, for some reason, has a crazy hit rate. But in this case, and it's also in a reversal zone, right? Out of a reversal zone that's been tagged 3 times. Now, in this case, the minute price sets a higher low like this and then goes to retest those highs, stop loss immediately going here. Either way, I'm going to have 1-to-1 from original risk. 1-to-1 from original risk, right, is about there. And then here, right? We had a 1-to-1 move regardless. Right. So I'm going to have 1-to-1 either way. But the minute this thing sets a higher low and it actually breaks out of a high or retests a high, stops going here, you have now a 2-to-1 trade already. Right? You have a 2-to-1 trade already. Now, the minute I hit 1-to-1 on the original risk, I'm putting all stops at break even. Right? If I hit 1-to-1, I'm going to take out 50% of my profits. Right? Either way, that was 2-to-1 on that, that current risk after the high or low. I mean, you could have probably set your stop at these open, close lows. But in this case, I'm going 50%. The rest of them going here. I mean, I honestly would have been out because of this node here that rejected, right? Look at this, reject. Either way, again, yet another insane example of if you can write the word gap, you need to freaking trade the gap divergence. It's just insane, honestly. And what do we see here? I mean, come on, brother. Yeah, I'm still streaming with my cough, but I mean, can you write the word gap in this space? This is why we call it gap divergence. Can you write the word gap in this space, right? This is your stop. This is literally your stop loss today on the 15-minute. I love it on the 15. This is your stop loss, right? This is the candle that gap divergence triggered. We're just going to take off all the other indicators. It tags reversal zone. First of all, I love when it tags reversal zone, then prints the gap divergence. It tags reversal zone, though. This was the candle it signaled gap divergence on right here. That turning point, right? Lines up with that candle. I mean, look at this. Stop above the high. This is the best. This is the best you could get right here. You're now running a almost 4-to-1 trade here on Bitcoin through those lows. I mean, it's just like ridiculous. If you can't write the word gap, don't do it. Don't take the trade. If you can write the word gap, I mean, that's why we're calling it gap divergence now. This is just, you can't, there's no question about it. If you can write the word gap, take it. What we say on NQ today. What we say on NQ today. 5-minute chart. 5-minute, 15-minute. I wouldn't go lower than that for gap divergence. 5-minute chart here. I can easily write the word gap. Boom. Gap divergence. This candle right here. That red candle right there, right? Right? That red candle right there. Go long. Bop. Stop loss here. Bop. Right? What do we get? We got 238 to 1 from that risk. From that risk. The minute it busts and breaks VWAP, my stop's probably going, is usually going break even. I don't know what here, I can show you. I have the screenshot for the NQ today. Gap divergence, though. Gap divergence is it. I even today on my X account, right? On the X account right here at 9:01 a.m. What was that? That candle right there is like that, right? Right, you had 3 minutes and 43 seconds left, right? If you had the notifications on, you had plenty of time to take a trade, especially if it closed over VWAP. Either way, 9:01 a.m. we said, hey, if we get this bullish divergence to break VWAP, my upside target is 20K on the NQ. The oscillator matrix signaled it as gap divergence, which is the best of the best. So I'm loving this bounce. 9:01 a.m. right there. Bop. Target was upside, right? 9:01 right here. 19.25 when we sent it. Target was up there in 20K. Now this thing ran way past that. Now, and then there you go. We had a mega run there. I moved my stops below these 2 candle 5-minute lows. Then once you get that full closure over VWAP, pretty much put stops at break even. We ran those highs beautifully. Now we crushed those highs. I targeted this. Right? I targeted that. That's what I targeted for my full profit. This thing after that ran another. I was gonna see here. Ran another 80 plus points. It was about 200-point move. This is almost a 200-point move off the gap divergence on the 5-minute. I mean, that was the trade of the day, just by gap divergence. 55K, no, not 55K, not happening. Do you trade like also as a swing trader for long term up to 1 month or more? Yes, I trade options. I swing trade options. I have a swing trade in Amazon right now. That's pretty much it. The only option swing trade I have. I just do one trade at a time. We had an XOM swing trade. Again, this is what I look for swing trades. Besides divergence, guys, I use the money flow profile. And I took a swing trade on XOM off of it, right? I think it was this day. Wait, which day? This day right here, yeah. This day right here. We bounced off the high volume. Now you can see right here, it pretty much made a very clean range. Made a very clean range right here, right? So when we had that bounce, after it fully flushed and retested this low down here, bounced off that, broke through that high volume node, bounced off it again, very large, nice closure on that daily. Took a swing there. We ran up, I think, about 90%. It dropped. I took half my profits up here. Then I held. I can't tell you, this is the craziest trade I ever had. When we dropped down here, I was down about 50%, I think. 50% on this mega gap down. We were about 50% after taking, I had a half a position. 50% on this 3% gap down. But what was interesting is it never set a new low after it gapped down. That day it fully closed back up. So I was like, okay, we're going to see how it does the next day. Next day, fully gaps up. We're back up 30%. And then going into today, it hit 400%. Like that, obviously that had everything to do with, the Middle East. But again, we're just playing key levels based on the consolidation it was in. We knew these were our value area here, right? From the money flow profile. We knew that, guess what? When we are consolidating on any asset, doesn't matter if it's crypto stocks or Forex, when you're consolidating, the reversal zones are literally the best thing ever. That's it. That's meta there. That's what you trade. If it tags reversal zone, gives you some kind of candle closure like that, it's going to pretty much rally. The oscillator matrix setting on 5-minute default settings. Yes, I only use default settings on the oscillator matrix. I think it's the best. I only use default settings on the oscillator. There's reversal zones use default as well. The only thing I have changed up a bit is on the money flow profile. That's just to make it a little cleaner on what I'm seeing. But insane on the whole gap divergence front. Let's see if the divergence even works on gold. The gap divergence is a little different on gold here. And then there you go, right? I can write the word gap, right? I mean, it's not terrible. This one's gap here. You can write it out, right? Here's the difference, though. This is a commodity, right? So here's where gap here. You know, granted, you could have taken this trade and been fine. But you got to understand what market you're in as well. So, you know, because obviously it's never going to work 100% of the time. I will say, though, even with it triggering gap divergence, right? Sometimes you'll get a day move after. So like this one triggered here and you got a nice little down tick afterwards. I necessarily wouldn't do it unless, again, if you understand how oscillators work, this is one thing you need to know. If an oscillator is favoring one side and has it made a full swing to the downside extended zone, it is in a mega trend. That is an entire no-go for any signaling on an oscillator. If it has not reached the other side of the extended period on a certain time frame and you're getting multiple signals for divergences or anything like that, do not take them. Your odds completely tank from there. With anything, right? If it's holding on a specific side, like in this case, it's been above the 50, it hasn't fully extended to the opposite side. When this thing was extending to opposite sides, though, right? Where's price? When this thing was extending to opposite sides, that is when it started to show, you know, a little bit of movement here. Now, in this case, it was here. You had from that bearish divergence, which was right here. That was after it see how it retested the low, it extended to the bottom. You had a 2.5% move, right? So it was a pretty decent move there. You could have taken probably a pretty easy trade. Your risk would not have been at that high. You'd have been crazy if you did that. But again, then it started to never retest that other side. So if you look at your chart and you're like never see this thing has retested the opposite end of extension, there's no reason to be taking. I don't know why that went the other way. Come back to me. There it is. There's no reason whatsoever to be thinking that divergence is going to work, because it's not. The oscillator has to show that it can extend to another side. With divergence, do you take the bottom of the oscillator or the top? What do you mean by that, jockey? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, which side do you take? I mean, we take both sides. It's just recently it's been Solana, man, back to 136. But notice here, price has extended to both sides, right? And then we said on Solana, gap. Right, there's your gap you can draw if you zoom in a little bit. Gap divergence, you had a very nice, I think it was like 30% move. Maybe not that much. It was a lot, though. Very nice. We're going to be on for about another 20 minutes. Tomorrow we will be live again, though, in the morning. But, I mean, it's just coin. A meme coin. I don't know, man. I will stay away from meme coins. Sorry. Can you share an example of false positive for the gap divergence? Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. So in this scenario, look at this. This is interesting here on. Crypto is weird. It needs to be a well-traded asset. It's like when you're in an alt cycle, you know, this crypto trades differently, right? I'm gonna have to share the NQ. The NQ or Bitcoin. Something that's been trading a while. You want to trade that. Let's try to find a false setup, because it will happen. But there are times, honestly, I haven't seen one in a while. So look at this here. Okay, so you see how price. This is where it extended to the downside. Price moved to the upside, but it took forever to even get back to this area. It just kept extending. So honestly, here I wouldn't even be taking that. This is a 1 hour. I wouldn't even be taking that one. Honestly, let's just do it on the 15-minute to make it a little bit easier. This case, let's see. This was well trading both sides. Let's see if this one had an issue. Well trading both sides. Here's your gap. This one was gap here. Turning point there. Now this is a 15-minute, right? This is where this original one triggered here. So this is where confluence can come into play. Either way, with that gap, this is gap divergence. Either way here, it triggered. Let me make sure I get the right candle here. Either way on this, let me double check. Yeah, it was this large candle here. So either way, on this specific candle here, if I were to take my risk to this low, we did almost a full 1-to-1, I think. Yeah. There's two ways you can go about it. You can put your stop there. I mean, either way, this thing, before it even tried to retest this, let's just say retest break-even price, like make a significant 15-minute test of break-even price, it did run 32 points. So you could, depending on what you're really looking for. So that's probably, that could be an example of a failed move. But again, here you had 15, 30, you had 45 minutes of trade. And this thing made a pretty much a bearish hammer in a bearish downtrend below VWAP. If you're not out by the time this candle prints, you shouldn't be probably trading. If you had your risk here, like in this case, if you had your risk here and price, it rallies, but you're looking for, let's say your 1-to-1, which was right here. Price rallies up, right? And then comes back and makes this candle. Why is this send to front? You got to use common sense. It's like in this case, that still didn't go to back, but whatever. This candle here probably would have been out. There's no real reason for this thing to make that big of a wick and then drop down. This is why I said, when you get it in confluence with like it actually inside a reversal zone, it's really clean. Even though that did run 30 points. I mean, you weren't wrong there. This one here, a little bit different. This one doubled down on gap here. This one was a better risk to reward. I think it was this candle here. Yeah, it was this one here. And sometimes it will trigger beforehand. But swing low there. Like I said, 1-to-1 is here. I'm always going to take profits at 1-to-1. If VWAP's in the way, more than likely I'm going to take profits at VWAP. That's another thing that you can do. But it's always going to more than likely be 1-to-1. Price literally didn't have any drawdown to the 1-to-1 trade. So the minute I take profits at 1-to-1, my stop immediately goes to 0. You gotta think about it in that scenario, right? You get a 37-point move there on gap divergence, but it doesn't play VWAP. Honestly, if I were you too, you have to have that mindset of multiple things happening. It's not like gap divergence is the only way that it's going to be the best, profitable thing ever. I mean, it works really flipping well. Don't get me wrong, especially when it's 2 times over. But in this case, the minute you have a full 15-minute closure on VWAP here and it perfectly rejects VWAP, it's like, again, there's no reason not to take it. You could even wait until here. I mean, if you were going to wait until this one there, you have then pretty much a morning or evening star reversal there, and your secondary in profits is still 18 points. If you were to close on this, tip over, you're at 28-point profit on that close. So, I mean, it's just, you can't be dumb about it. You can't be dumb about it. Let's continue and see. Like this one here, no gap divergence. That thing there, very tiny gap divergence. Even though it played, I wouldn't have played it. I mean, this one's monstrous. Talk about a gap. So the reason why this one's good is because price fully extends to this side, makes a swing structure here, fully, chops around and fully extends to the opposite side, and then rips back down to the low, fully extending again. You get a massive gap divergence here. Again, this is a term that I just made up, by the way, for this. Just because I like to... When I say gap, I want a significant difference between the 2 points that it creates divergence. Now, what's nuts about this one is we actually were live. We were live with this one. If you go back on our morning streams, we were live with this one. 15-minute here. This one's a very crazy extend. That's a 123-point stop loss. Now, this is where I would dive into a lower time frame, right? Here. And see on that gap divergence there. I mean, it doesn't matter. It didn't have any drawdown. It literally it had 0 drawdown. Which is crazy. This thing had, it had a 1-to-1 move, at a 130-point move, which is nuts. But more than likely, after that first 15-minute closes, if it's that crazy of a drawdown, my stop is immediately going here. Now to play it safe, I'd be on a lower time frame managing it, because that is a 15-minute chart. I'll probably be looking at a 5-minute chart. See if I can find it. That trade was crazy. I remember that too. Here it is. So here's your 1 minute. So you have your 15-minute close at a bullish divergence, right? And you're holding above VWAP. So long as price is above VWAP, I'd be managing my stop. Your stop's not gonna be down here. It's just not. So that's kind of how I would have gone about it. You just gotta look at different time frames and be like, okay, this risk is insane. But again, this was a very massive push. We also forgot on that 5-minute time frame, by the way, at the same time, you had a 5-minute, you had a 5-minute and a 15-minute divergence here. Here's your 5-minute. Now, granted, this one was not gap divergence. It was fully extended in reversal zone though, and it had a nice lower low, and then made it smooth. But either way, I would have waited for the 15 minutes to play out. Do I have a doc for all the indicators I use? No, but again, all I said was I can actually probably make one, but it's literally this. All this is the entire. So guys, on the website, luxalgo.com, if you like all the indicators I'm using, again, just go to luxalgo.com or click the link in the description of this live stream and click the get 30 days risk free. You're going to get 30 days risk free, but it is the premium one, okay? So it is the premium package to get all the indicators that I'm using, because I'm using reversal zones, which is the signals and overlays, and then the oscillator matrix, which is in the premium as well. But we do incorporate order blocks too to help us out. I like to look for order blocks inside of reversal zones, but we were just talking about gap divergence in that moment. And then this is the money flow profile. That one is free. When you're seeing with these lines across the chart, that one is free. But essentially, all I use personally from signals and overlays is the reversal zones. That's all I use. Now, I'm not saying all these other features are bad or anything. Just for me, reversal zones on low time frames are fantastic. I love using the Neo Cloud and the Smart Trail on bigger time frames. And then, if you want, there are really, I've used these signals on midterm with the NQ. I've done this before as well. Let me see. Where is the autopilot? Yeah. On midterm with the NQ and the 1 minute, right? Midterm, NQ, and 1 minute to trade the reversal zones. Okay. So essentially, what I like to do if I'm going to trade reversal zones, you ignore any signals that are in between those. Any signals that are in between the reversal zones. Now, midterm is it's automatically calculated. 1 minute time frame with signals honestly is not great. You don't want to use that. But if it happens within a reversal zone like this, you get a full extension reversal zone, then get a signal. That's when I would trade from that original signal to the opposite reversal zone, like you saw here. That's what you would look for. Dude, I literally feel like I have a frog in my throat. So you need a full extension in the reversal, and that doesn't always set up here. Maybe, that was after hours. I wouldn't even look at that. But that is another way I've used it. The signals are really good for high time frame. You want to use high time frame on those, and I'll use those when I look at like very high time frame, like 4 hours and everything. It's like 4 hours in the NQ, as you can see here. Very clean setups with the reversal zones, and I'll use it on like Bitcoin and stuff too. Dude, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna blow my nose 1 second. Okay. But yeah, the best part really with the indicators, you're going to want to find what features work best for you. In my opinion, high time frame, you want to use the signals, you want to use the reversals, or you want to use the Smart Trail, you want to use the trend catcher, and the Neo Cloud. Smart Trail, Neo Cloud, signals are great for high time frame, like swings and everything. That's what I use swings for besides the money flow profile. Reversal zones, by far the best when it comes to low time frame. Just incredible. It's going to give you really clean extensions when it happens. Like I said today on the 1 hour for the NQ, right? What we saw in the NQ for that first initial move, again, was that this reversal zone stepped down some, right? And the upper reversal zone, you see how it's kind of pulling down some as well. pretty much trying to pull the entire market down. So we had that first initial push because we opened it under VWAP. Again, I always use VWAP. VWAP is just, day one stuff, right? Great indicator. I always use VWAP to judge whether or not I'm going to open my day with a short or a long. Odds were pointing to the downside, but we had a 4-hour order block here on NQ that was holding us up. It's been holding for forever. But the minute I saw that thing start to move at a very high volume rate to the downside, the VIX moving, everything was pointing to potentially retest the lows. We got that. Now, granted, I did like the upside better today. After that sweep, I'm glad that it bounced as clean as it did. And again, reversal zones on the 5-minute was money on that bounce. Swept the lows. You had the gap divergence. We talked about that. And then the move through the high. That was beautiful. Can't get better than that. VWAP held as well. Beautiful moves. But yeah, so what I use on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour, I sometimes don't even look at the 4 hour on the day. I use 1 hour and below for looking at day trades. I'll use signals and overlays, reversal zones. Okay, that's all I use on that one. I'll use the money flow profile. I sometimes take off sentiment, but profile heat map, 95 transparency, 70% on the high volume traded nodes. And then I turn down the average nodes. I don't like to see the middle. I don't really care for the average nodes. We don't need to see that. We just need to see significant nodes, low volume and high volume. And then 200 look back. Sometimes I'll change that, but that's default 200. That's all I use for the money flow profile. And then I'll default on the oscillator. I pretty much use the oscillator for divergences because, again, I don't have to sit here and look. I don't even have to have the oscillator up. It prints that blue line, right? So if you go back, you can see here, no blue line, boom, prints it. It's like, oh, let me look at it. All right, cool. The other thing I can do as well, if I want to, is I can go into the settings here of the oscillator matrix. Sorry, I can go settings. Nope, 3 dots, add alert. Sorry, not add indicator. Sorry, settings, scroll down. I was trying to make sure I knew what I was doing. And then I can do bullish and bearish divergence, check those marks if I want. And then I can get an alert for it. The reason why I don't do the alerts for these is because sometimes it can be one of those where you want to sit back and, see how price is where it's at. But I don't know. I honestly need to set those, to be honest. And the other reason I don't do it is because this thing happens maybe once or twice a week. You get nice little bullish divergence gaps that play out. Sometimes you get multiple times a week. But look, as you can see, like that one happened there. It's like there was kind of one there that wasn't really one that I would have liked either way. And it happened in the middle of the night. I don't really care about that if it happens in the middle of the night. This one wasn't bad. Mega cap divergence there from previous price action. Either way, that did actually play out quite nicely. But it's just one of those things where, like, honestly, it happens. It happens so often that you don't really necessarily need alert unless you wanted to create like a dynamic alert system for it. But in this case, I pretty much just wait. If it pops up, it pops up. But you can create alert. Can you show SPY with your alert? Yeah. Do you want SPY or do you want like ES futures? I mean, it's the same thing. If I were you, if you're trading SPY, just look at the ES futures and then trade SPY. Like, don't even look at the SPY chart. Just look at the ES futures. And I could extend hours. I mean, you had it there. You still had it there on the order block. But I honestly, if I were you, look at SP 500 futures or SPX. You could do SPX. and then use this to trade SPY. So like if it, this did the same thing, right? Had the same divergence there, same gap divergence on this candle. Did that run up? Inside reversal zone. This also, again, 4 hour. Was that on the 15? I don't think it shows up here. Didn't show up on this one. 15-minute. Or maybe the 1 hour. Sometimes, yeah, because it's probably a breaker on the lower time frames. Your 1 hour order block's there. Or yeah, your that's a 4 hour. The blue is always 4 hour. This one actually tagged a reversal zone. Dang, that had a bigger move today than NQ did on the downside. But yeah. So pretty much. Yep. That's about it, guys. I just want to hop in here and kind of talk about the divergences today, see kind of where we're going tomorrow. We'll be back on here in the morning trading live, so be ready for that. So besides that, guys, we'll see how we go into tomorrow. Again, remember on the we really like the upside right now, especially where we're at. So if we get this closure in 26 minutes, where we're at, right, get the closure somewhere up here, where we're at. On the NQ. I do like it to potentially rally overnight into the 20,200 level. We'll see what it does. On the NQ, we're going to be an hour close over 20,100. It's got to get out of this range, this little range here. If it doesn't, it's probably not going to go. The nice part is ES is actually inside a massive range either way, so that gives me hopes for this thing to potentially rally. I mean, it's been holding this 4 hour order block forever. Look at all these hour candles. The 4 hour is super clean now. You could consider that a Morningstar reversal. It looks like it wants to rally back up here, at least to retest 5782 on ES. NQ retest right here into this. If it gets to that level, it could, that could be buys again. Majority of that level was buys, so maybe around 200s you get buys and it rallies pretty hard. So we'll see what it does. But that's about it. I think we gotta close out the stream with a little jam, but hopefully today, if anything, you learned something about our indicators here. If you liked any of those indicators, you can, again, get them risk-free for 30 days at luxalgo.com. All you have to do is click the link in the bio or just search LuxAlgo on Google, or just go to luxalgo.com, click the big button on the homepage, and you do get risk-free for 30 days if you're a first-time user. But again, guys, you just have to use indicators the way you want. The way you think they're going to help you. You got to use common sense when you're looking at the indicators. Don't sit there and go against what it's telling you. That's not how it's going to work. But again, every morning on my personal Twitter at IndicatorsWork, I do post my morning analysis about 10-15 minutes before open. It's going to look something like this. Show you one more time, like this. So more than likely, I'm going to give you an hour and a 15-minute chart, depending on where we're at in the 4 hour. If we're not anywhere significant, I'm not going to put a 4 hour chart, but I will break down everything. So it's very small read, right? So there's a bull case and a bear case. So really, if you want to get that morning update, just go there. If you want to be updated with everything going on in the market, make sure that you are. Get some smoke up in here real quick. Make sure that you are following the LuxAlgo X account as well at LuxAlgo. Remember, NFP on Friday. Do not miss that. Be up to date. It's before market open. We have NFP on Friday. That is non-farm payroll. That's super important report. Please be ready for NFP on Friday. Besides that, guys, I will see you live tomorrow here on stream yet again. And I got to wait for this ad. That's annoying. But we'll be looking at NQ futures in the morning and potentially ES and stuff. But yeah, I appreciate you if you have followed me or the LuxAlgo X account. You guys are awesome. Let's see if we can get this rally overnight to 20,200 tomorrow. If we do, I'll say I told you so. Let's go. But again, the biggest thing to watch at open is when open in an hour. Sorry, hour 30 minutes. Right? You have overnight opening at 6 Eastern. Is to see how VWAP holds. Does it hold over VWAP? The biggest thing I would say here is on this 15-minute. If we let me get rid of the song. Is if we hold this high volume node, okay? The high volume node there, hold above it. 1 hour, as you can see here, we have a high volume node above and then one up there. So there's a nice little gap here that could just run right through. So let's see how it does going into this evening. Good luck to you guys. And honestly, let's get it. No. Another ad. Lame. Let me wait for this ad to play out. But yeah, I mean, I just like right to 20,163 would be nice. On the NQ, ES would be somewhere around. I mean, this thing just went nuts. Man, it needs to close up here, to be honest. I need to get an hour close over like 772 or something. All right. There we go. Give me that music back. Oh, let's get it. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in like always. Thanks again. See you tomorrow for some live trading. Let's get it, baby. Yep, around 10 Eastern, okay? So be ready for that. 10, 10:30. It just depends. Just look for the stream to pop up, and we'll be going on that. But appreciate you guys. Let's get it. Be safe out there. NFP Fridays. That's going to be big for gold, so be ready for that, okay? Be ready for that. If you're not already, like always, follow me and the Luxago account on X at IndicatorsRick. Appreciate you guys. Again, 30 days risk-free. Just go to luxago.com. Click Get 30 Days Risk-Free, and you'll get it, my friends. Peace. See you guys. Oh, buddy boy. Not a bad day. You gotta love when you have the perfect day, baby. Hope we get a bounce back because I have something on Amazon that I really want to work out. Snooker Pro, you get it with the oscillator matrix at luxago.com. Just go check it out. You can go to the settings or the features tab, and you can click the oscillator matrix if you want and see. But all right, guys. Peace. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. I forgot that the stream messed up again, so I'll see you. Peace out.